I love Sound Attack. Thank you for distributing some of the best stuff.
Adam Marcello here, played drums for Katy Perry. Shout out to Sound Attack.
Thank you so much, Sound Attack. You guys are wonderful. You guys are great.
Hi, my name's Alon Rubin with 9 Inch Nails. Thanks to Sound Attack for coming down, checking out the drums.
Right, Oli, wicked. So, first of all, tell us about your congas and bongos.
Right, congas and bongos, LP Galaxies I'm using for this gig. So Quinto Conga Tumba. I've put skin deep heads on them, makes it a lot easier, gives me more volume. The tuning doesn't move. So for this kind of tour where things are getting packed in and out, different temperatures, you need this because it just stays the same. Galaxy bongos too, the same. Synthetic heads as well. For the same reason, you know, once I tune them, they stay there.
That's cool. And do you find them easier to play? Or do you find
They're easier to play. I mean, in the studio I'd use real heads, real skin all the time because they have a bigger range of sounds. These have a smaller range, but they're just, they won't shift, you know. And they're easier, they are easier on the hands. I mean, if you're playing hard every night, it's a big difference between doing that on this and real skin.
So moving along, you've got a Roland SPDS.
SPDS, yeah, Roland SPDS. I mean, I've got that. I put all my own sounds on there for this gig. So I've got my patches organised with the songs, different songs, and I make the sounds accordingly. I've also got a trigger running from that into this big drum, which we'll get to after. So yeah, I've got it all organised, all the set lists here and the different sounds I've made for each song.
Oh wow.
In my studio, I plug it in, I've got Logic, I make the sounds, tune them to each song and then record them into that.
Oh, right. Cool.
And so yeah, that's how I do it. Also here I've got some hand stuff, different kinds of sounds that I use. Timbales, brass timbales, 14, 15, which I like. I like the sound of brass, slightly warmer. It kind of fits in frequency-wise more with what's happening on this music. A range of bells, again, all LP stuff, Sabian stuff, cymbals. This is the AAX Explosion, which it kind of cuts in nicely with this music, with what we have here. And then I've got some Ozone Splash, little HHX Splash, which I like. That's a 6. A chopper, I love this. I use it for rhythmical stuff, the Sabian chopper. And my new babies on this tour are these Aero Crashes in Aero China. They look fantastic, with light in front or behind them going through all the little holes. They look great. This is it's kind of a, it does that. So it's a sound effect, kind of stormy sound effect, trashy. I've got a lot of trashy kind of sounds which I love. A few things made by Pete Engelhardt, which I use. He's a guy that hand makes a lot of weird sounding stuff.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of his stuff. Yeah. So, cuica, Brazilian cuica, which you've probably seen in Carnival in Brazil, if you see it. So I use that. I just kind of bring it all into the game, you know. This is it's a drum used in northeast of Brazil for a kind of music called maracatu, and you play it kind of traditionally. Traditionally, they kind of play like this. Big set, it's a very traditional drum. Those strung, tuned, goat skin. But what I've done is I put a trigger from the SPDS going into this. So when I play it, I've put a sub. I've assigned a sub to this, which I designed. Okay. Which means that when I play this, it's a massive sound.
But it's mic'd up as well.
It's mic'd up as well, so you get this. You get the kind of nice skin sound, but behind that, just behind that, you get a massive sub. So yeah, it's got a lot of power when it's all plugged in. because obviously in this kind of music, there's a lot in the backing track, and it's quite, you need power. You know, whatever you do, you need power. Otherwise you'll get lost, it's just a little drum, so. Yeah, and that's called the Alfaia. I bought it in Brazil.
Did you?
But actually you'll probably find them online. It's kind of Brazilian instrument
Yeah.
shops.
Sounds massive. Really warm.
It's big sound, yeah. I basically make a lot of my own sounds too. Because I like to keep things kind of interesting and kind of always bring something new to the table rather than, you know, just the usual thing. So mixing the usual things with my own sounds gives me my own sound, I suppose. So I'll try to do that all the time. Hi, Oli Savill here. I'm playing with Basement Jaxx. We're about to do the O2. Big shout out to Sabian cymbals for always helping me out. LP Percussion, Roland Electronics, and Dean at Protection Racket. And a big shout out to Sound Attack, which are wicked and they're doing great work. So check them out.